What's up, guys? Welcome back to the video on the Sports Master channel. In today's video, I'm gonna recap round 4, 5, 6, and 7 of the 2022 NFL Draft that just concluded earlier today. So starting off with the 106 pick, Tampa Bay Buccaneers are gonna pick up Cake Otton from Washington. Then we have Damian Pierce from Florida going to Houston. Perron from Oklahoma going to Cleveland. Kobeson from Cincinnati going to Seattle. Daniel from Minnesota going to Baltimore. Max from Louisiana going to New York. Daniel from San Diego State going to New York. Percy from Louisiana going to Washington. Dane from Iowa going to New York Giants. Demaria from Pittsburgh going to Denver. We have Yoma going from Iowa State going to Denver. Michael from Texas A&M going to New York Jets. Akala from Missouri going to Minnesota Vikings. Jalen Armour David from Alabama going to Baltimore. Brandon from Penn State going to Carolina Panthers. Jack Jones from Arizona State going to New England. Samir from Georgia going to Las Vegas Raiders. Isaiah Spiller from Texas A&M going to Los Angeles Chargers. Cade York from LSU going to Cleveland Browns. Eric from Texas Tech going to Miami Dolphins. Neil Farrell from LSU going to Las Vegas Raiders. Pierce Strong from South Dakota State going to New England Patriots. Charles Cooler from Iowa State going to the Baltimore Ravens. Jake Ferguson from Wisconsin going to Dallas Cowboys. Jordan Stout from Penn State going to Baltimore Ravens. Hassan Haskins from Michigan going to Tennessee Titans. Romeo Dubs from Nevada going to Green Bay Packers. Jake from Georgia going to Tampa Bay. Spencer from Texas San Antonio going to San Francisco 49ers. Joshua Williams from Fayetteville State University going to Kansas City. Cordell Volson from North Dakota State going to Cincinnati. Bailey from Western Kentucky going to New England. Calvin Austin III from Memphis going to Pittsburgh. Isaiah Likely from Coastal Carolina going to Baltimore. Zach Tom from Wake Forest going to Green Bay. Damian Williams from Houston going to Baltimore. Jacoby Durant from South Carolina State going to Los Angeles. And then we have Chiozim from Maryland going to Tennessee Titans there to finish off round number 4. Then heading over to round number 5, the first pick in round number 5 of the 2022 NFL Draft, which came to the Washington Commanders. We had Sam Howell from North Carolina. Then we had Darren Kennard from University of Kentucky going to Kansas City. Micah from Indiana going to New York. DJ Davidson from Arizona going to New York Giants. Kaylee Shakir from Boise State going to Buffalo. Cole Turner from Nevada going to Washington. Thomas Booker from Stanford going to Houston. Tyler Algier from BYU going to Atlanta. Delari Turner-Yell from Oklahoma going to Denver. Tyreek Woolen from Texas San Antonio going to Seattle Seahawks. Snoop Connor from Mississippi going to Jacksonville. Matt from North Dakota going to Dallas. Jamal Ford from Cincinnati going to Cleveland. Zion McCollum from St. Houston State going to Tampa Bay. Tyreek Smith from Ohio State going to Seattle. Eric Johnson from Missouri State going to Indianapolis. Otito from UCLA going to Los Angeles. DeMarco Jackson from Appalachian State going to New Orleans. Montreal Washington from Stanford going to Denver. Kyle from UCLA going to Tennessee. Kyron Williams from Northern Dame going to Los Angeles. Assezi from Minnesota going to Minnesota. Tyson from Toledo going to Cincinnati. Dave Ron from Fresno State going to Dallas Cowboys. Braxton from Southern Utah State going to Chicago. Ty Chandler from North Carolina going to Minnesota. Teagan from Oregon State going to Houston. Luke from Washington going to Denver. Samuel from Toledo going to San Francisco. Mark from North Carolina going to New York. Dominic from Miami, Ohio going to Chicago. Matthew Butler from Tennessee going to Las Vegas. Damon Clark from LSU going to Dallas. James Mitchell from Virginia Tech going to Detroit. John Ridgeway from Arkansas going to Dallas Cowboys. And then we had Kingsley and Bear from South Carolina going to the Green Bay Packers for the 179th pick there, as we're hopping into round number 6 of the 2022 NFL Draft. Make sure you hit the like and that subscribe button, as I'll be live for some more sports related content. Starting out with the first pick in round 6, the Buffalo Bills are going to pick up Matt Araiza from San Diego State. Then we have Kyron Johnson from Kansas going to Philadelphia. Darren Beavers from Cincinnati going to New York. Kevin Harris from South Carolina going to New England. Lowe from Illinois going to Minnesota. Christian from Villanova going to Buffalo. Zach Thomas from San Diego State going to Chicago. Nick from Fordham going to San Francisco. Malcolm Rodriguez from Oklahoma State going to Detroit. Amar Barna from Virginia Tech going to Carolina. Justin Shaffer from Georgia going to Atlanta. Jalen from Michigan State going to Minnesota. Andrew Ogletree from Youngstown State going to Indianapolis. Devin Harper from Oklahoma State going to Dallas Cowboys. Jordan Jackson from Air Force going to New Orleans. Jameer Saylor from Georgia going to Los Angeles. Tyler Batty from Missouri going to Baltimore Ravens. Gregory Jr. from Baptist University going to Jacksonville. Grant from SMU going to Philadelphia. Cade Mays from Tennessee going to Carolina. Sam Roberts from Northwest Missouri State University going to New England. We had Ingram from USC going to Arizona. Mike Woods from Oklahoma going to Cleveland. Tristan Ebner from Baylor going to Chicago. Theo Jackson from Tennessee going to Tennessee. Austin Dislulis and LSU going to Houston. Matt from Wisconsin going to Denver. Doug Kramer from Illinois going to Chicago. Connor Hayward from Michigan State going to Pittsburgh. Lou Tenuta from Virginia Tech going to Buffalo. Hines from LSU going to New England. Quentin Lake from UCLA going to Los Angeles. Darren from Georgia going to Los Angeles. We have John from Georgia going to Atlanta. Jasir Taylor from Wake Forest going to Los Angeles. Smith from Virginia Tech going to Arizona. Curtis Brooks from Cincinnati going to Indianapolis. James Houston from Jackson State University going to Detroit. Coke Keith from Minnesota going to Tampa Bay. Chase Campbell from Mississippi going to Tennessee. Kayla Davis from UCF going to San Francisco. And then we have Tariq Castro-Fields from Penn State also going to San Francisco there as we're heading to the last round of the 2022 NFL Draft as we're hopping into round number 7. Here we go. Starting things off, we have Montrick Brown from Arkansas going to Jacksonville. Isaiah Thomas from Oklahoma going to Cleveland. Cameron Good from California going to Miami Dolphins. Mark Robinson from Mississippi going to Pittsburgh. Tyler Carter from Southern going to Chicago. Nick Must from South Carolina going to Minnesota. Tariq Carpenter from Georgia Tech going to Green Bay. Bull Melton from Rutgers going to Seattle. Chris Paul from Tulsa going to Washington. Baylor Spector from Clemson going to Buffalo. Fayon Hicks from Wisconsin going to Denver. Derek Young from Lenoir Ryan going to Seattle. Jonathan Ford from Miami going to Green Bay. Daniel Hardy from Montana State going to Los Angeles. Dean Leonard from Mississippi going to Los Angeles. Chase Lucas from Arizona going to Detroit. Tyron Munford Jr. from Ohio State going to Las Vegas. Ronnie Thompson from Yale going to Indianapolis. Christian Holmes from Oklahoma State going to Washington. Chris from South Dakota State going to Pittsburgh. Kalen Barnes from Baylor going to Carolina. Jalen Watson from Washington State going to Kansas. Christian Matthew from Valdosta State going to Arizona. Andrew Stuber from Michigan going to New England. Dawson Deaton from Texas State going to Cleveland. Skylar Thompson from Kansas going to Miami. Andrew Anthony from LSU going to Tampa Bay. Rashawn Walker from Penn State going to Green Bay. Brenton Brown from UCLA going to Las Vegas. Isaiah from Rutgers going to Kansas. Jeffrey from Coastal Carolina going to Cincinnati. Russ Heath from Kansas State going to Los Angeles. Elijah from California going to Chicago. Trent from NC State going to Chicago. Jesse from Penn State going to Arizona. Marquise from Oklahoma going to Arizona. Samuri True from Nebraska going to Green Bay. Najee Johnson from Marshall going to Kansas City. Xander from Purdue going to Los Angeles. AJ Siri from Michigan State going to Los Angeles. And then we had Brock Purdy from Iowa State going to the San Francisco 49ers for the 262nd pick of the 2022 NFL Draft. And that's going to include the draft for this year. I recapped round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here on the channel. I'm also going to be live I'm going to be making videos every single day on this sports channel for NHL, MLB, NFL, and NBA content on the channel. Make sure to start the bell for some more daily sports content. I'll see y'all later.